So Lord, I just woke up. There's no electricity in my apartment. So I'm tired of fearing this Interpol, the Secretary of the Justice Department. In the United States, the International Criminal Court, the U.S. Army, maybe the U.S. Marine, the U.S. Navy, maybe the U.S. Air Force. Really trying to understand in the hallway of the apartment building that are not motorcyclists. You can give me money in person through PayPal, through PayPal. It's A-R-Busca de Sansto. En lo que estoy pensando, sweet in my heart, and Lorenzo R. Shop, INTAYAFAY, I'm Tire Shop. My GoFundMe is gofundme.com/r/Arlene-Lorenzo. Seeking the death get in the way of your seeing money. Seeking the death of everyone that steals my money, that gets in the way of me receiving, that stays in my homes without my permission, that drives my vehicles without my permission. I'm a victim of theft, of hate crime, domestic violence, abuse, genocide. Sexual harassment, rape. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So, what else? Oh, did they go on in Hurricane Oni because they're like in demanda a tener a tu hija singing a song that's even meant for adults. Kids make love. But for real, did they go on to Hurricane Oni, these leeches? Because Kainoni was singing on Musically. That I never do these leeches don't want me on social media. They're so pathetic because they're thieves, rapists, and murderers. So every time that I post, it draws attention to how gross they are. So they possibly went behind the scenes to go on to hurt my children, Jada and Kaylani, just for no good reason. What they're pathetic. They're pathetic. If they continue to behave as how they used to behave decades ago, they're pathetic. These leeches are so gross. These leeches are so gross. They're disgusting. You can decapitate Deborah Bailey that's trying to rape me, Jada and Kaylani. She's trying to steal my generational wealth that I don't have access to. Her two sons, Brandon and Raymond, are rape babies. So disgusting. Esta tipa da un asco, gente. Son una basura. Ew, 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 ew. You can decapitate me. How many restaurants sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money? You can decapitate la leech, Melissa Gomez Rivera. You can decapitate la leech. Ginny Gendarelli, Cindy Lorenzo Suarez. You can decapitate la leech, Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Mariana Daza, la leech. Dan un asco. You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martinez Urias. You can decapitate Rosaura Soto Rosa. You can decapitate Tila Cole if she stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission, gets in the way of me receive money or steals my money. Even though the International Criminal Court exists, I'm seeking the death penalty for those that steal my money, get in the way of me receive money, stay in my homes without my permission, drive my vehicles without my permission, and are trying to rape me, Jada and Kaylani. You're so disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored at the moment. I'm gonna stay at a hotel. Ideally, pay the electricity in my apartment. However, I want a home for myself to make Kaylani ASAP. You can decapitate Guillermo Munoz Carrero, that steals Jada's and Kaylani's child support money. You can decapitate David Ledesma, that raped me in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, tipo un puerco. He's trying to turn me into a sex slave to where I legally prostitute myself so he could be a better option for people to date. El tipo es una asquerosidad, the lowest of the low. Ew, 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 ew. Este tipo es un puerco. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate Sarah Wolsey. You can decapitate Evelyn de Jesus. You can decapitate Sarah Francis. That stayed in my homes without my permission, that steal my money and get in the way of me receive money, that steal my vehicles. What else? 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 They would prefer that I would post pictures of their relationship. However, they don't have a relationship. They're thieves, murderers, and rapists. So that's no relationship. Son inservibles. Al estar robando y tratando de violarme a BJ y Kelani. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate a señora Arlene Lorenzo, que es una puerca, una basura, una asquerosidad. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate me having sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. What else? 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 So bored. You can decapitate Leon Baker that took me hostage through Facebook and Messenger in 2020. These leeches want to try to give the impression that social media is unsafe, they're terrorists, they're so gross. If they want a club where like people are really cool and worthy of spending time with them, they should just go ahead and create it. Not be this disgusting. They take people hostage, they're so gross. You can decapitate me, how many sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receive money. You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo that steals my money, stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission. She's disgusting, so gross. You can decapitate whoever sent me this message as long as it's not Jade and money. Then I have been coerced by my family of origin as to separate Jade and Kanani from me. You can decapitate whoever stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission, steals my money and gets in the way of me receiving money. They're disgusting. They already introduced me to this Neo guy decades ago as someone that they rape or rapes them or stays in my homes without my permission. They want to humiliate me so that I kill myself. They're like, oh, I was staying at Neo's home. Because they couldn't rape me. Yeah. So they caused my homelessness by stealing my money so I wouldn't end up at a homeless shelter where this guy works. That guy doesn't even want to work there. It's disgusting how they behave. So now they have in history that Neil se quedó en mi casa bien hermosa, and they possibly have pictures of the homes that they steal from me, and they're like, they're so disgusting. In the meantime, I'm heading over to HEB on Rosillo soon so I can get food and then head over to the Sun Library and spend the day there because I don't have money for food, I don't have a home, I don't have anything. I miss Jaden, I miss Kehlani. You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo Acevedo, que es una puerca, una asquerosa. She's a human trafficker. A leech that steals my money, stays in my homes without my permission. And to the wife. El tipo no sabe lo que habla la mujer. Es un puerco, no basura. What they're trying to do is trying to kill each other while they rape each other. They're so gross for decades at least. Decades. I haven't talked to these people in more than 20 years. They're so disgusting. You can decapitate my homies, sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate everyone that has caused my starvation and my dehydration. You can decapitate my homies, sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Esther Rivera. You can decapitate whoever sent me this message, most likely one of these leeches. Based on conversations that I heard while I was growing up. They're like, if you're on the internet, eventually you're going to end up being poor because you get so abused by your siblings and your parents that you are going to have a hate crime towards you for exposing that you're poor on the internet. You can decapitate whoever sent me this message as long as it's not Jaden Kanani, who may have been coerced by my family of origin is to abuse me and is to separate Jaden Kanani from me. You can decapitate Julio Lorenzo si que se queda en mi casa sin mi permiso, me roba mis vehículos. Me roba mi dinero and gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Michaela Munoz if she gets in the way of me receiving money. Stays in my homes without my permission, drives my vehicles without my permission, steals my money. You can decapitate Jennifer María Vázquez La Lich, que se quedó en mi casa sin mi permiso, me robó mi dinero. Me robó mi vehículo, gets in the way of me receiving money. She killed Gloria Nirsa Acevedo Cordero. She's disgusting. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Jenitza Munoz. You can decapitate Grisel Soto Rosa. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate whoever has caused my poverty, my anxiety, my depression. That has led to my eviction and me starving publicly for the past 5 years. What else? You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate whoever sent me this message as long as it's not Jaden Kinani. Abusing me as to separating Jaden and Kanani from me, a witness. Some kids go through that while their parents were going through divorce or custody cases. During my childhood, teen years, you can decapitate me, my sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate la lich que me robó mi dinero. Arlene Lorenzo Acevedo, you can decapitate Yadier Lorenzo Chaparro, que se queda en mi casa sin mi permiso. That went on to lose my virginity with these gentlemen decades ago. Son una gente tan puerca, una asquerosidad. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate Yesenia Ramirez Lorenzo, que es una puerca. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo, sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Lizzie Nales. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo. What else? More gross people, gente ill. You can decapitate Erica Gordaby. You can decapitate Sunset Stanley. You can decapitate Pamela Martin. You can decapitate Miriam Carrero. You can decapitate Ana Carrero. You can decapitate María Andrés Aviles. You can decapitate Mirna Berrios. You can decapitate Luisa Gonzalez. You can decapitate Raymond Ramirez. You can decapitate María Echevarría. Oh, do I have to sort for the FBI? What I truly do. Do they have a clear idea that I'm not behind the scenes? These leeches possibly use my pictures in group chats where they pretend that it's me. They pay leeches to pretend that they're me in group chats. So I heard decades ago that with me being live and sorting through the comments that I've actually posted, the FBI gets a clear picture of what IP addresses to search for, not that they haven't already, for people that pretend to be me and then like sort through like who needs to get arrested for that, who's on their blacklist for doing that, who's gonna get decapitated for doing that, for impersonating me and getting in the way of me receiving money and stealing my money and staying in my homes without my permission and driving my vehicles without my permission and getting in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate my homie and sorry sons of sons that rape me, to steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate la lich, Deborah Bailey, que una puerca se hace pasar por mí. Ellos me están tratando de violar todavía. I haven't talked to these leeches in more than 20 years. I have no interest in ever seeing them. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate David Ledesma. You can decapitate Rosaura Soto Rosa. You can decapitate David Ledesma. I already went through these screenshots. You can decapitate David Ledesma. You can decapitate Caminos Carrero. You can decapitate Luis Lorenzo that tried to rape me when I was 14. You can decapitate los liches, asquerosidad, basura de este planeta que no sirven para nada. That rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money so I get raped. Son una basura asquerosa. You can decapitate me, young Kim Tower Limo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate La Lich, Maria Luisa Rosa. Sativana Porca trying to rape me, and these leeches trying to facilitate that for her. They're disgusting. They're so low life. No sirven para nada. Son una basura. You can decapitate Yesenia Ramirez Lorenzo. You can decapitate Evelyn Lorenzo Acevedo that tries to rape me. She steals my money, stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of me receiving money, and wants me to work a job where I'm cleaning, so I'm talking toilets with her all day. Ew, because she's trying to rape me full. Or where I would be like, oh, look at my heels, I'm now a secretary. And then that would be a safe space for her, to talk to me about my heels. Son una gente tan asquerosa, una gente tan puerca. People have said to them decades ago, just go talk about heels with the people that you truly want to give them compliments for. Ya. They're so life, because they're always looking for a workaround, trying to rape people. They're so gross. Ew. People call him asco in Aguada, Puerto Rico. I call him fall. You can decapitate my homies, so sons that rape me, to steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Katie Leon. You can decapitate Lisenia Nieves. If she's still alive, she may have faked her death. Ew. You can decapitate Katie Leon for lying about Lisenia's death. Or did Lisenia kill herself before I would kill her in self-defense? What else? You can decapitate Carolina Chavez, the leech que se quedó en mi casa sin mi permiso, steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Mandy Hanson. You can decapitate Yelitza Martinez. Basically, because él no se valora ni se quiere el mismo. What he did was traffic people that were possibly around 8 years in orgies, as if I don't own his penis, pero ellos se creen que I own it. Ew. So they were possibly trying to cause chaos around me so that I will hate Jaden Kehlani. Well, I won't ever hate Jaden Kehlani. They're so gross. They use people y esas liches se dejan usar. Son una basura, una asquerosidad. Ew. You can decapitate Nereida Galicia. They killed my mother, Gloria Nirsa Acevedo. She threatened me decades ago that she will kill me because at 7 years old, she and some of her sisters were fighting over a man, over Yolanda's boyfriend. Que asco daban. So she threatened to kill me. So did her sisters. They're so disgusting. What else? You can decapitate me having sons that rape me, steal my money, and get in the way of receiving money. You can decapitate Arnaldo Torres Callosa if it steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money, stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles. What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. You can decapitate Richie Hill. That raped me in 2023. You can decapitate this individual if he calls for a vehicle to run over Richie, like he stated decades ago that he would. What else? 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 You can decapitate Andrea Curd if she gets in the way of me receiving money, if she steals my money, if she steals my vehicles or stays in my homes without my permission. She was introduced to me decades ago by these leeches that they raped her or she raped them. I don't know the situation and I don't want to find out. They tried to rape me with her. She's just disgusting. I'm not ever attracted to her. They're just trying to be on my radar, just holding me back from falling in love with someone that I would actually want to be in love with. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me to steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Adrian Solana. You can decapitate Yesenia Arlene Lorenzo. You can decapitate Igor Munoz Carrero, steals my money and thinks that people have first dibs over my vagina. He may have felt threatened by this leech that decades ago said to Edgar, don't give her any money or she will flee. He has no first dibs of my vagina. He's just disgusting trying to rape me. They're so gross. If they were even respectful, they would understand what being a man is, but they don't know that. So they treat me as the lowest of the lowest so that their wife doesn't feel less important than me. Ew, son una basura, gente. Eso no llega ni a fuck buddy material. Eso no llega ni a fuck buddy material. Their dad is using me, trying to get them to be a man at least for one day before their dad dies. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo. What else? 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 You can decapitate David Lesma. You can decapitate the ladies that for her. She said if they still stay in my homes without my permission, drive my vehicles without my permission, steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate whoever sent me this message. As long as it's not Jaden Kinloni that may have been coerced by my family or warden to abuse me. What else? 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 Ew, I just remember I was like 2 years old y Legendary le abrió el culo a uno de estos. Una asquerosidad, gente. Esa tipa está puerca peleando por... If that happened, she's so gross. People said that she saw me get a compliment over a sexual act and she went on to copy it. Right up there in my presence. Decades ago. What else? What else? What else? What else? Dan un asco, gente. Dan un asco. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate La Lich. Sarah Francis stays in my home. She steals my identity. Se queda con ello. Ella steals my money. Steals my vehicles. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Igor Munoz Carrero, steal status and gain on his child support money. What else? I'm so bored. The bus will be here. Anyways, I want to stay at a hotel today. What else? Anyways, ya vamos por Carlitos, es un abusador y yo todavía no tengo dinero. Porque the leeches that steal my money, or some of them may be hostages of them. used to read my mind decades ago. They're like, Nina, nunca te va a dar una oportunidad de que la violes, déjala tranquila, ya ella va por su mente. Like, este Carlito jode, este Carlito jode. And not as a compliment, not as a compliment, not as a compliment. What else? What else? What else? What else? La gente se lo dijo decades ago. Serafín se lo dijo a ella. That's why she doesn't follow me from an account where her full name, Gina Gendalides, and Societies. Porque Serafín se lo dijo que ella es una cuero asquerosa puerca, quedándose en mi casa sin mi permiso, manejando mi vehículo sin mi permiso, robando mi dinero, getting in the way of me receiving money. And she said, then I'll leave my hair straight for Facebook so people can't recognize me. So he possibly still goes around with pictures of her with her natural hair showing people look at how disgusting that lady is. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Even though the International Criminal Court exists, I'm seeking the death penalty for everyone that steals my money, everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money, everyone that stayed in my homes without my permission, everyone that drives my vehicles without my permission. You can decapitate Jandy Lorenzo Sares. You can decapitate me how many citizens that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. Anyways, what else do I want to do? My phone is charged. I called CPS. I need to pay about $470 to get my electricity reinstated. So the full amount, 700, 470, possibly a reconnection fee too. You can pay for my electricity through that link. What else? What else? What else? I'm sending my GoFundMe campaign to people through Instagram. What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. So, anyways, there's no value for me in those leeches. Del apellido Suarez. Ew, 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 ew. I don't like them. One of them, did he feel raped when I was 2? And he hates me, wants to kill me. If I remember correctly, he was having withdrawals, but he fell in love with me. And he felt raped, and he also was that kid that said that I'm a queen, and he's less than. He behaves like less than. So, yeah. What else? What else? I didn't know. It could have just been a random thought of me being 2 years old. Or how someone explained it to me. Ooh. I've heard that happen sometimes. Anyways, I have no interest in any of my sources. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm so bored. I want to shop at H&M today. I want to eat well every day and drink water every day. You can decapitate everyone that is in the way of me eating and drinking water. What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else?